Welcome to the first episode of Through the Ages. To start off, we have my hardcore world and its evolution through the ages. Here we have my home that was built in 1.3.2. It's a simple design, but it gets the job done. Now let's head inside. All this footage is taken in version 1.13, but the video will showcase the progression of the buildings from 1.7.10 onward. Sadly, I've lost all my previous saves and screenshots from before this version, but this is my quaint little home in the swamp. Next up, we have the Colosseum, and what will eventually be the Desert Village. In the Colosseum, I've managed to kill 2 withers so far, and outside of it, I've been terraforming the surrounding chunk area. That will be covered more in episode 2. The chunk borders here are pretty bad, as you can see. The first real remodel to the Colosseum was adding obsidian floors, just to make it a little easier to fight the Wither. And we can see the battle damage that was taken from the last battle. Around 1.9.4, I decided that a whole city would be built around the Colosseum. And here we see the layout of all of that. It's definitely my largest project to date, as well as clearing part of the chunk era that occurred between 1.1 and 1.3.4. I also started to clear this area out for a future zoo project. Now, we can see that I'm using the beacon to better help with the removal because it was taking a fair bit of time without it. Now let's go over another building. This is the museum, where all the rare and unique items of the world are stored, as well as a giant map room that definitely needs a rework. Some of the rarities I have acquired is special blocks, armors, and items from all corners of the world. Now, behind the museum used to be an empty plot, but it soon became the home for the greenhouse. And this is where some of the builder's block that I talked about comes into play. You see, I never liked the greenhouse, and when I tried redoing it, that we see here, I didn't like it even more, but it did serve its purpose. The next building we have is the potion place. And again, another build I hated. So instead of a remodel, I blew it up. I made it the ruins of the potion place. The library, on the other hand, is probably one of my most favorite builds. It uses redstone to open the enchantment table, and below I've started a huge excavation progress to build a much larger library underneath. And here are some stages of that. Now we have the crypts, and this is where I have 2 mob spawners leading to it, so I can double the XP from the mob farm. And again, a worse remodel that I won't even spend the time of day on. Here we have the storage house. This used to be where the crops were before the greenhouse was built, and it stores most items that I have at the time. It used to be pumpkins and melons, and I had a cured villager inside of it. Now all the crops are gone, and you get to see Judas the Butcher. It was eventually remodeled to an arguably uglier stone brick, but we'll work on fixing that. And the new resources I had an abundance of were cobble and nether quartz. This plot you see here was my first big terraforming adventure. And the future home to the Natural History Museum. This was the largest project I've finished to date, and the amount of time and effort that went into it was astonishing. We can see here that it's sort of a biome showcase inside. We first see the empty halls, but now you can see them fill up, and eventually we'll make it to the update aquatic and a new wing for 1.13. Some other notable things in this world that I haven't seen much change since they were made are the farm, the wood mill, the hole that I got the When Pigs Fly achievement, the mines, the auto smelter, and let's not forget about the bedrock bar. This is also the hole I spent my first night in. And lastly, we have the graveyard. Since I only get one life on this world, I think it's fitting that so do my pets and companions. Here we have Barley, who fell into the lava at the end portal, Ben Davis, who mysteriously disappeared, Skateboard, my first horse that ended up drowning, Elderham, which was the pig that I got the achievement on, but he also drowned, and the butcher Judas. He's here too. And finally, Owen, the former guardian of my home. So that's my hardcore world so far. Next episode will be a little more Let's Play-y, but remember to like and subscribe. The biggest help you can give me is hitting that subscribe button, and it only takes a second. Peace out, everyone.